and begin normalizing relations with the Chinese. The red Chinese, that is.
He got acupuncture and now he's got a library named after himself.
Who, Nixon?
Doesn't he? Isn't there a president?
Yeah, I believe there is.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Every president gets a library, even the ones that resigned, I guess.
Today, I renounce my presidency.
Effective at noon tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow, yep.
Humid out there. See it.
Yeah, well.
See the moisture in the air.
Yep.
That's not good. Wait till maybe next week.
All right, Mike, till then.
The B-29 is next week.
Oh, is it? So you're not going to be around next week?
Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. No, I guess not. All right, Mike, till then.
All right, boy.
Till the next
I
time.
gotta stop down and give you some supplies, too.
Of what?
You can see out here because it's humid.
Oh, good.
You know what? Cassette tape, probably.
What kind of cassette tape? Pre-recorded ones?
Yeah.
Those I can probably sell, not for a lot, but I got rid of Richie's. Yeah. Richie had some weird tapes in there, but I got rid of them. A lot of country music, some folk tunes and shit like that, and Indian whistling, whatever the fuck that was, but some guy out in the Midwest bought them. He loved them. Told me they were great. Thanks. All right, Mike. Till then. Yep. Oh. Yeah, there's some moisture. Just a little.
My God, the car's soaking wet.
Because it cooled down and everything condensed. The old Tricky Dick went to China. He hung out with Mao for a while and toured the Great Wall. He actually was the first U.S. president to visit China.
Yeah, he brought back acupuncture, or had it. Man, it's foggy out here.
And his problem was he was paranoid.
Him?
Oh yeah, big time. That's what led to that whole fucking thing, you know. The burglary and all the other bullshit. The burglaries, there was more than one.
Yeah.
All the other bullshit. And he was just constantly paranoid that his enemies were out to get him, which they were, of course, but he had them. McGovern didn't have a chance against them. Not in 72. I mean, what the hell? He won in a fucking landslide without any information gleaned from, the Democratic headquarters, whatever. So he shot himself in the foot, Was his own worst enemy in the end.
No, he bombed North Vietnam.
He what in Vietnam?
I thought he bombed...
well, he did, but he also ended it in Vietnam.
Yeah, linebacker.
Yeah,
That's my
he
favorite.
forced something over there.
Awesome.
Yeah. He forced the North Vietnamese to the peace table, and they came to an agreement, which of course they didn't hold to, but it did allow for the withdrawal of American troops. We finally got out of that fucking war.
Cat.
Yep. Looking for the possum. He was an odd man. He really was. There's a lot of contradictions in him. I mean, here he is, constantly paranoid of his political foes, everything else. And in the middle of the anti-war shit that was going on, there was a story of him getting in his car with a few Secret Service agents driving, I think it was to the Lincoln Memorial, or was it the Jefferson Memorial? I don't remember which one.
I don't remember.
Gets out of the car, there's a bunch of hippies around and shit, the war protesters, everything else, in the middle of the night. Ends up having, a chat session with them.
That was the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Lincoln Memorial.
Asking questions, getting their opinion and stuff like that, just hanging out for a while and trying to explain his side of things in a normal discourse.
Yeah, I was waiting around for
somebody today, so I was like, well, I was up in Ardsley and had a little tag sale. I'm like, well, I went to Dunkin' Donuts, sucked down an iced tea. I think, well, check out a few tag sales, and I seen that. So I thought, all right, $3. What's the harm in that? You know, apparently that was a wasted $3. Apparently.
Well, you know, I guess a lot of people must have saved copies of that newspaper. You know, it seems to be quite a few on. To see that many on eBay, that means, you know, it's like the Kennedy assassination papers or
Titanic sinks.
Well, that'll be a lot more rare.
Or
but
Japan wars over.
yeah, the end of the war. You know, from historical milestones, all the 9/11 papers, that kind of thing.
I figured it was a novelty. Maybe you can do something with it.
I'm gonna read it.
Let me know if there's anything good in the daily paper.
Yeah.
Anything good today? See if there's any good sales in there.
Nixon resigned.
So 74. When in 74 was this?
April. So I believe it was April.
I glanced at the year, but I didn't see the date.
I forget now too myself, but. And that ended the Vietnam era pretty much right then and there. When, yeah, what the hell's this? No. Somebody must have been having a... Oh, damn, I didn't even see his lights.
Yeah, the back lights are on, not the front lights. Yeah, I was just saying, that's one of them's a Stady.
Yeah.
Well, good, that would have been me, but luckily my lights are working tonight. This would be a hell of a night to have my lights go out.
Oh, God.
Always a cop.
Yeah, I would say 1974 was when the 70s really began. The 70s that I remember.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Jerry Ford. Gerald R. Ford. The man who never wanted to be president, but got to be president anyway. And they tried to kill the poor guy twice, you know. It's just... You have to ask why, you know. What was so offensive about Jerry Ford that they tried to kill him?
How long was he in for?
Just one term, 1974 to 19...
Oh, he did do a full...
Basically, no, he finished out Nixon's second term, but 1976.
So it's like 2 years.
Just 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't run, or he just didn't get elected?
He didn't get elected.
But he did run, though, right?
Carter, yeah, he did run.
Oh, okay. Don't remember my history.
Yeah, he did run, and but no, Carter edged him out. And then Carter was defeated in a landslide by Reagan. Because while Carter's an extremely intelligent man, he was a bad manager. He couldn't delegate, really couldn't. He liked to micromanage everything.
Iran hostages.
Yeah, yes, that was a good example. And I mean, he did get the peace accord, the Middle East peace accord going. You know, he managed that much.
How was he on the home front?
Not good, because the economy stagnated, faltered, stumbled badly. Gas prices shot through the roof. We had another gas crunch. Unemployment was high.
I remember seeing lines. I remember lines. So
I very well remember that.
Going to school, you know.
Yeah.
Thinking, I remember thinking, what the hell is it going to be like when I turn 15, 16 and start, am I going to be able to own a car? That's what I always thought when I was little, Even earlier than that, even in the early 70s. I said, damn, am I ever going to own and drive a car? Oh,
I didn't care about that by that point, but, well, I remember the late 1970s being a pretty good time to be a kid in America. We had fun, but the country as a whole was not doing well. And Jimmy Carter took the blame for that, rightly so in most cases. Some of it was his fault.
I remember we were sitting out on the deck one time. It must have been obviously before 80 or 81, or maybe around 80, and my dad said, man, if that guy gets reelected, I know we're moving to Europe.
Yeah. The one thing Jimmy Carter handled right was 3 Mile Island. That much I do remember.
That was his, and it was.
Yes, I remember how scared people were about what was going on.
I remember.
You know, when the news reports were getting worse and worse, and people were starting to use panicky language and shit. You know, you hear people talking about fallout and China syndrome and all kinds of other crap like that.
I might have been young, but like.
But I remember seeing Jimmy Carter on television at the nuclear plant, touring it. And I remember thinking to myself, well, he's the president. The president's there, how bad can it be? You know? And now he was a nuclear engineer. He is a nuclear engineer. He understood.
I mean, you and me didn't know that at the time.
I knew it.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
Well, that he was a nuclear engineer, I don't know if I knew that. But I knew the 3 Mile Island was extremely serious.
Oh, yeah, I knew. Yeah, that
I knew what China syndrome was and what could happen. And I knew that the president was there, it can't be that bad. They never let him get that close. The president is there, it's okay.
Because he understood it and he knew it, right?
Well, I just knew that he was the president, and if he was there, then whatever the hell was going on wasn't that bad. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there, because he's the president. I didn't know he was a nuclear engineer at that time, I'm sure.
No, I didn't either, that's what I'm saying.
You know, but he was, and he understood the situation. He knew exactly what was going on, as well as anybody did. And he had a calming effect. His presence there was a calming effect.
What was the problem now? The false readings, or a valve didn't open?
A valve didn't open, a pump didn't function. They weren't getting coolant to the reactor. And it came within minutes of a major meltdown. We didn't know that part until almost 20 years later, but when they finally were able to send a remote camera into the core, they realized how badly slagged it was. They understood very clearly then that it should have melted down, but somehow didn't.
So how'd we fix it, or how'd we correct it?
We shut it off, and they got the pumps working, and they shut it down successfully. Finally, shut it down, but and it's still shut down today.
Now, was there radiation floating in the air?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. But it wasn't major. It wasn't
Chernobyl.
No, nothing even close to that. No.
Oh, alarms are going off all over Europe and shit.
Yeah. But people were panicking. You know, people were running away.
Nobody knew. Yeah.
So I thought for his entire 4 years in the White House, the one thing he did that mattered the most was probably that, averting a major panic. Because that would have got a lot of people killed.
Yeah, we saw it when me and Jane were out there. We like saw it from like pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, you could see it. Like, it wasn't like way out there. It was just close enough to where. And then
the T-shirts came out. I survived 3 Mile Island.
The T-shirts. Yeah. We came up to we like came around the corner, and then we rolled the window down. And I said, "Is that 3?" And she goes, "Yep, that's 3 miles." I said, "Okay, thank you. We just want to know if fox."
Yep, little fox.
We were near the plane crash site, but we didn't want to go there. I didn't particularly want to see that.
Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we were like literally like on top of it, like within a half a mile, a quarter mile from the thing. We didn't.
Why didn't you want to visit it?
It was either her or me. I don't remember. And I saw the name, and I go, I'm scratching my chin, going, that freaking rings a bell from somewhere. And then, you know, it said 9/11 Memorial. This and I started seeing signs for it. She goes, I don't know if I want to see that. I said, yeah. I said, I'll bite off on that. So she didn't want to enforce her. So I kind of said I didn't really want to see that either. So I didn't want to force her. What was I going to do? You stay here, and I go, where's I going to put her? And this isn't like the backwoods of, you know, it's like the middle of, it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's really, really in the middle of nowhere. The other thing we did go out and see was, you ever hear of Falling Water?
I think so.
It's the Kaufman family, Kaufman's, the department store. And they originated big out of Pittsburgh. So back in the late 20s and early 30s, not Hemingway, sounds like Hemingway, famous artist back then.
Yeah.
Him. Hemmings or something. Sounds like him. They called him up, and they wanted to build a house in a rock formation in the woods with the falling water. So they did, and then so he got together with structural engineers, and they butted heads, and then there was falling water. And we saw that. It was just on PBS like a week ago. One of my customers was talking about it. The guy goes, let me guess, Falling. I said, yeah, that was on 3-4. Really? And then I looked around on PBS, I couldn't find it. But anyway, that's literally right there, Shanksville. So middle of nowhere, no phone signal. It's desolate,
Oh, yeah.
out in the woods.
Yeah, I'll never forget 3 Mile Island. That and Son of Sam. Summer of 77.
That was all how close together were the two. Well, 79. I thought the 3 Mile Island was 79.
Yeah, yes. The earlier was Son of Sam.
In fact, I remember the night of the blackout.
The 44 caliber kill. Yeah, and the blackout. Oh, yeah.
We were. This is what happened. We were home. Maybe. Well, it was probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, there you go. They brown out. The lights dimmed, and then that was it. And then the phone rang, and it was Con Ed. You know, and I said, "Is Dad going to work?" And we picked up the phone. And that was it. And then we knew we had a big blackout, and he went in. That was it.
Well, I remember I was at Ian's house that night because we were going into work with his father the next morning. His father had the bread route. And I remember, you know, with the electricity, it did come back on earlier for us than it did in the city. And we're seeing the news coverage, you know, it's riots and everything else going on.
Yeah.
And I remember when we went down there, what a mess it was.
It was scary because we were hearing about that, and then like my mom, like a few 3-4 years later, we didn't really know. We didn't really know quite how bad it was, and then my mom was scared because she knew. We came up from the city, so she knew. You know, he told me a lot of stories. I remember one time he was in the Bronx in the early '70s, and they were getting shot at, working on the poles.
Yeah.
And the supervisor said, "That's it, let's go, grab the tools and let's go."
Yeah.
All kind of fucking stories
Oh, yeah.
you tell me. Fuck. Another time, you ever hear of Buchanan, when that blew up?
Yep.
Okay, so he was there. And I said, "Dad," and I asked him, this was like in the early 80s, maybe 85, 86, I said, "What's the scariest thing you ever seen at work?" And he goes, "Well, there's one time we were down at Buchanan, and he said he heard breakers tripping like way too many. He's been around this shit already 10, 15 years, so you know."
Yeah.
And he said he knew something wasn't right, and he told he grabbed his buddy out of the truck, so let's go, and they ran. He said he could feel the heat, like super heat on the back there, and they ran and got out of there, and he said about maybe 30 seconds later, pow, boom, and it blew up, and the truck melted.
Damn.
So then they were safe somewhere, and then the supervisor came out. He had his head down, and he thought that, you know, my dad and that other guy was dead. He goes, "Oh my God, you're alive!" And he said, "Well," I said, "I thought you two were dead for sure." And he said he was shaking, and he thought I lost you guys. And I'm thinking, fuck, man. You know, some of the stories he told us, you know, those are probably the two most scary.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's another one where the lightning struck, and they, you know, that was the power outage.
Well, let's hope that's the scariest thing that ever happened to Buchanan.
That was the blackout with the riots. Lightning came, and it hit the substation. Boom!
Because you know what else is in Buchanan?
And it tripped everything. That's what happened.
Was that the facility they were at?
Yep.
Oh, it's a taxi. Last thing you want to hear is that sort of thing happening at that kind of a facility.
I later asked about that, and they said they kind of now has protectors from the lightning, so that don't happen again.
No, I mean, there's a nuclear power facility in Buchanan, Indian Point.
That's always on the news every once in a while. Con Ed no longer has that.
They don't have
Entergy has it.
Entergy, yeah.
My dad, he worked down there too, and he said you're better off bringing in your lunch than trying to go out for lunch. By the time it takes for you to go out, go through all the checkpoints and come back in with your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They said you're just better going in with lunch. He was down there, Greenberg. He worked all over Elmsford.
Well, a serious problem at either 3 Mile Island, that would have been bad enough. But one at Buchanan at Indian Point, that would be the nightmare scenario. That would be
because it's right around the corner.
Well, not to us. It's basically smack in the middle of 50 million people.
Yeah,
in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Right there.
Yeah, you got New York City, Jersey City, Trenton. You know, White Plains, everything. And there really is no evacuation plan. You know, they talk about one, but there really isn't. They have some shit down on paper, but they know that would never work. It's unworkable. The system of alarms has never been successfully tested.
When I
always
jumped
shit
in the
that's
water
burnt out and everything else.
months ago, that was the Stony Point that was right there by
Yeah,
the...
yeah. So if there was ever a serious Fukushima or Chernobyl type accident there, it's unthinkable what would happen to this country. I mean, it would be ending, basically. It would crash our economy. It would.
Fukushima.
Yeah. You know, it would, to make parts of New York City, or if not all of it, uninhabitable, that, you know...
It would ruin the economy.
It would destroy the economy. It would destroy it. Not to mention the fact that where do you put 8 million people, you know, in the city alone, and then all the other people in the area that would be affected by it? How do you feed them, house them, clothe them, take care of them, deal with their medical problems? I mean, what do you do? The answer is nothing. There's nothing you can do. People are going to die in large numbers.
I'm reading detour signs.
Detour? Where? Wonder what happened. Detour east, ice. Detour to where? What are they detouring?
I don't know. First I'm seeing this.
Something happened to the bridge, or I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we gotta turn around. So speaking of the bad economy, today's what, Sunday morning. Does Terry go to work this week, or is she?
Yeah, she has one more week left.
And then what happens on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock?
She's unemployed.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, well, for the summer, school shuts down. So that means that...
Is she invited back in September?
Apparently so, but she doesn't want to go, which I told her is incredibly stupid, because if you have a job, you stick with it. Especially in this fucking shitty economy with her work record.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't exactly have a stellar employment record. If these people are willing to employ you, you fucking... Well, this car's coming from that direction, so something's open up there.
Open, yeah. Just wondering. Just wondering.
So she'll sit home on her ass for the summer.
How can you go wrong with a summer vacation and a
They feed her, you know?
Yeah.
And she's complaining she's doing nothing at the elementary school. Are you complaining about this? You who loves to do nothing, you specialize in doing nothing, you're best at doing nothing, you know?
Read a book, study.
Stare at the fucking wall, be thankful you're getting paid for it.
Count the cockroaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Or she can train the rats to eat the cockroaches, and she's all like, you know, then that way the rats become bigger targets.
She can start an ant circus. Bridge is fine.
Said something about Bullet Hole Road.
Yeah, 164. Well, I don't know. Maybe they had some kind of construction going on earlier in the day.
Will the town ever get money to fix these bridges over here?
No, probably not. It's their own fault they chased out all the industry. You know, New York State did that. Now there's no one to pay the heavy taxes they want paid because the homeowners can't do it, so infrastructure continues to deteriorate.
Oh, rat. Did you see it?
Yeah.
That was disgusting. It was big, too. Yeah.
Well, they're around. They're part of nature like anything else. Don't wake up in the middle of the night, see its beady little eyes looking at you from the top of the blanket.
My cat would never allow that.
What cat?
My cat down in Virginia
Oh,
would never allow that.
yeah, but your cat's not inherited chills.
Nope. Oh, so let's see. Yeah, so the thing gets here on Wednesday, which of course that's out to Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, so I guess Sunday.
Yep.
And it'll be in Albany, so that's close.
What time do you want to go?
I'm sure the thing, you know, it's probably starts about 9 or 10, so we could probably leave here 7, probably.
That's fine with me.
7, yeah, like 7. Yeah, 7.
Okay.
Then we'll get up there.
7 o'clock Sunday morning.
9. That leaves like, what, 2 hours? What's Albany? 2 hours?
You would know better than I do. I don't go up there, so-
Probably, yeah, it's 7, 8, 9. And then we have, yeah, that's, I'll pick up at 7. 7:30, 8:30. No, 7:30. We'll do 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, 7:30. Yeah, it'll be cool. And I don't know the weather, but
Yeah, whatever it is, it is.
but it's not going to be stifling hot though, unless we're going to get a mysterious mystery 95-degree heat wave that I don't know about. But it's not going to be like, you know, unforgiving 100 degrees.
We're going up there to look at an airplane. We're not doing the Boston Marathon, so
Yeah, right. How much walking is there going to be?
hopefully not much.
The other one, I don't know where the other one is, if it's even touring, or if that's like, I don't know who's in charge of that aircraft, but pretty cool. Jane's going away to Oklahoma for 5 days on Wednesday. Black cat.
Yep.
Saw that?
Yep. A little back spot moving on along. Oklahoma. Yeah. Taking her house guests with her.
Oh, thank God they left yesterday.
Oh.
Whew, I'm telling you, my fucking.
What is that? Her sister or some shit like that?
That would be her cousin's family.
Oh.
First cousin, her first cousin's family.
Oh.
You should have heard her on the phone for 45 minutes trying to give directions.
She's telling me all about
in
it.
her fucking glory. Oh, anyway, so here's what happened. Did I tell you that they got lost?
Yes, you did.
So now it's I don't know, whatever night it was, I can't remember now. And I come in like 9 o'clock at night. First thing she says, and she pitched this all last week and the week before. Can you take them to the train station? I said, I don't think so. I got to do an airport run. And then there's no answer. But she got it all figured out. So now it's like it's 9:30 at night. Everybody is dead tired looking. Nobody's moving. Everybody's like shoulders are down. Everybody's there's no. Everybody looks like the Bataan Death March here.
Jesus.
And they go, can you tell? She says, okay, we need you to go to the train station in the morning. I said, I got to do an airport run At what time? And I said, I got to be out of here by 5 in the morning. And then she's just sitting there with her mouth hanging open. You know, like this is her typical usual, you know, she doesn't have an answer for something. Well, can you leave a little bit later? I don't think the people would like that very much. And I said, their flight is at like 9:30. And I said, I don't put airport runs off. Like, I have these things scheduled, you know, not like, yeah, if I wait till 6:30, 7 o'clock, 684 is a parking lot. It's tail lights and brake lights as far as the eye can see. And then there's still no answer. And I'm thinking, call a fucking cab. Okay, I said, I'll take you, but I said, I've been pitching this for like 2 weeks. I can't, you know. So I said, and the other thing, if you want to get up at 4 in the morning, I'll run you down. I said, I have to be out the door and in my car by 5 to 5, 10 to 5. He goes, where are you, what airport are you going? I said, does that matter? I said, JFK. And then she goes, didn't you go there last week? What, did too many trips for you? I can't, there's no wiggle room here. You know. So, of course, you know, she had to take him down 3 trips in her car, and then she slept all fucking day. Oh, my God. No food in the house.
What?
Oh, my God. You know, she What a fucking... I'm glad she doesn't do this, but it's not even once a year. It's once every 2 or 3 years.
Huh?
It's not like she's like doing this all the damn time, thank fucking God. It ain't my house, but my God, you know? Yes, it's all over. The dust is settled. It's all over. Yeah, so they were driving, so guess how long they were driving around here for?
How long?
45 minutes, apparently.
How old are these people?
They're young.
And they're too stupid to fucking navigate?
Well, they don't have it, they don't own a GPS, but then Jane was giving directions, so finally they called up from the McDonald's, and she says, I'll come down and get you.
Jesus.
Well, there's only one small problem with that. We live in Heritage Hills. Okay, so they call up and say we're at the McDonald's. Well, do you know where the McDonald's is?
Where?
You tell me.
Man, back here?
Yeah, there's one, right? So Jane comes down here, and she's like, I don't see you in the parking lot anywhere. And she said, we're over here by the Chili's or whatever. And so there's no Chili's here.
Oh, God.
Guess where they were? Over in Payback.
That figures.
She's in her glory. That's all she loves, breaking out the road map, and she loves giving directions. And guess what I pitched 3 weeks ago? Have him get off at exit 19, and I'll meet him at the diner.
Yeah.
Or have him sitting on the side of the highway. I'll come get him.
Yeah.
And then she like looked at me with her mouth open. C1.
Kitty cat.
And she didn't want to do that, and she figured, you know, you can go here. And then they almost went into Connecticut. They had to come back. They're driving around behind Croton Falls. I don't know what the hell they did. I heard all about this, and I'm just like, whatever. My fucking God, you know.
All right, next week, 7:30 it is.
7:30, yep.